So, hey,
Hi, what's up?
got back from the gym, ready to rock and roll. So, thanks for setting this up.
Amazing. We're both in blue. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited. I'm a big follower of yours. I love everything you post. So yeah, I'm really excited to get into this today. What are we going to be talking about?
So we're going to be talking about just the basics, the fundamentals for people who are maybe watching your channel, watching my channel, being like, I really need to do some of that. Like maybe I'm not ready to go 100% raw, or I'm not ready to just completely change my life, but I need some of that, and they're kind of stuck. And that's who I want to speak to today. And I also just want to say I'm a big fan of your channel and your content and everything you're doing too. So
Thank you.
really
Yeah,
I'm
I love it when people just speak their truth, and you do that really well. And I think that's why we're here. We're here to speak our truth and not be afraid of not fitting in and being judged or taken off social media. So yeah, it's important.
Yeah, because people are hungry for the message. People need to know, and I think I can speak for myself that like I didn't get into this to like fit in and go along with the crowd, because that got me somewhere that I didn't want to be. And I feel like even just with your name, right? Like Misfit Vegan, it's like it's kind of you embrace the misfit.
Yeah, absolutely. When I went vegan, so I'll just tell everyone a little bit about myself.
Yeah, please.
Um, yeah, so I went vegetarian in 2010. My name is Jeanette. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. And I went vegetarian in 2010 when I saw the documentary Food Inc. I had never seen an animal being hurt ever. I'm from Brooklyn, so I never saw a cow or a pig or a chicken in real life, okay, until on 2010 on Food Inc. And when I saw this scene of a cow being pushed into the slaughterhouse because it couldn't walk into the turned upside down. Um, and basically, I went vegetarian on the spot, and I thought I needed fish because I thought I needed protein. I'm from an Italian family, and meat and fish and cheese and eggs, these are a big part of every single meal. A dead animal's body part was at every single meal. So I still ate fish for about a year. And in 2011, I found out about the raw vegan diet. And I
How,
found,
tell me that story.
how did I find that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was a sound engineer at the time, and I was working at an amazing studio and, meeting all these celebrities and having an amazing time. And I discovered David Wolf on YouTube, and it really like shocked me what he was saying about, animal products and about cooked food. And I was always trying to lose weight. I had very bad acne, even as a vegetarian. I had very bad cystic acne. I was overweight still. I was really tired all the time. I was always getting sick my whole life. And I had a lot of ailments, all right, chronic bronchitis and depression
Wow.
and all these things. And I saw his videos and I was inspired. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this out for 30 days. I'm going to try the raw food diet out because this is crazy. Like you just eat fruit and vegetables, like nothing cooked, no real food. I was like, this is like crazy. But he really inspired me. And I did it and I never looked back. So since 2011. And what happened was when I found out about this truth that nobody talks about, my whole life changed. So I quit my job in the music industry and I went to work at a health food store, like a vegetarian health food store in New York. And I never looked back. And so for the last 10 years, I've been in the food industry in New York and now in Miami. Yeah, I just know that this is my life purpose, to help people to find out the truth about what they are eating and what we as humans are supposed to be eating. I never knew this. I was always someone who was into losing weight and I was trying to be healthy my whole life. And I tried every single diet, the Zone diet. I tried Atkins diet. I tried there's something called the Hollywood diet, grapefruit diet, everything, every celebrity diet, everything I tried. And I I just know that this is the only thing that works because I'm doing it for 10 years now. I've never had an issue with my health. I'm super healthy now. I rarely get sick. And I don't break out anymore. I don't wear any makeup on my face anymore. And I feel so much better in every single way. So that's a little bit about me.
All right, awesome. You know, it's kind of funny because I stumbled into this about the same time for different reasons, but it was like late 2010, early 2011.
Wow. Wow.
And
Same time.
yeah, it's funny. Like we've both been doing this for about 10 years, but like you didn't come on my radar until maybe a few months ago. So it's kind of funny.
Well,
Yeah.
I didn't share anything for the first like 5 or 6 years. I didn't have a public account. I had a private account. I wasn't into social media. I didn't have a YouTube channel. I wasn't into this stuff because I don't know. I'm very shy and reserved and very nervous. And I never thought that I'd be someone who could be on camera. And yeah, that's another story. But this lifestyle has really helped me a lot with confidence, with like my self-esteem, with realizing that I can do certain things that I'm afraid to do. You know, I mean, every single thing in my life has changed since eating a healthier diet, every aspect.
Yeah, me too. It's been a complete 180, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
So hey, so what I want to talk about today is for people who want to get started and they don't know where to get started. And I know you have a book with like 100 recipes in it. Let's say someone downloads that and they're like, okay, now I got it. Now what do I do? Like, where's like the beginning point for people?
Yeah, great question. Great question. I would say the first thing to realize is that everything is hard before you do it. Everything is so much harder before you do it. Okay. Like LeBron James didn't come out of his, his mom's belly just like being LeBron. It doesn't work like that. And I'm not saying I'm LeBron, but sometimes I feel like I'm LeBron of the raw vegan food because it's so easy for me, because I've been doing it for 10 years. So of course it's easy for me, right? But something that I'm talking to people watching, right? Something that you are really good at, I'm not going to be good at because I've never done it before, right? So like playing basketball, I'm really bad because I don't do it, right? So just realize that. That's number one, okay? It's going to be a little bit of a weird, uncomfortable thing at first to give up the things that you've been eating every single day for the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years, right? But you need to know that it is so much easier than you think. And yeah, I would start, number one, I would start with educating yourself on two things. Number one, on why you want to do this, okay? Do you have something that you want to heal? Do you have a health ailment? Do you have, a mental or physical or emotional thing that you want to heal? Why are you doing this? And why is going vegan and eating a high fruit diet beneficial to that? Okay, I actually pulled out a few books that I want to share because if you don't know why you're doing something, then you're not going to do it. If you don't think it's going to work, you're just going to give up. So I educated myself. I have a lot of books in my library, and I love to know some of your favorites before I share mine. Ben,
Oh, okay.
what are some of your favorite books?
Let's see. 80-10-10 Diet by Doug Graham. Good one.
Yes, that is a good one. That is a very good one. Yes.
Yeah, another one I really like, which I gave away. I don't have to show off, but Whole by T. Colin Campbell. He really explains like why like eating whole foods is optimal for health, and how everyone out there doing nutrition science, looking at like individual ingredients and trying to come up with the ultimate supplement or medicine or whatever is just totally lost and never going to figure it out. It really gives you like a psychological, philosophical framework of how you approach health that I think so many people get lost in the weeds on when they're like, so I think, yeah, like your philosophy, like if you understand the philosophy from that philosophical framework, it's like you can much easier make decisions about what works and what doesn't, and what's right and what's wrong. So I think that book's super good. And let's see. Also, China Study by Colin Campbell really explains it. If you want to like really get deep in the weeds and the science, Whole's a quick read. China Study's like really in depth. So I would
Not a
say,
quick read. Not a quick read.
yeah,
I'm still working on it.
yeah.
That's a tough one. I have a few more that I would recommend too. These are books that came to me. I feel like once you start looking for the truth, the universe supports you in every decision you make. So these books just randomly came to me. Arnold Ehret, The Mucusless Diet. I recommend this book because, first of all, it's super old. It's from 1910. It's a truth, you know? Like there's just truths in here. And you don't have to follow everything he says. You know, I don't agree with everything in every book. But this book is so good because it just makes everything so simple. It's like some foods cause mucus and some foods don't. And guess what? The foods that don't, the only foods that don't cause mucus are fruit and vegetables. These are the only foods on earth. And mucus is the cause of every single disease in the human body. Another book that I love so much, and I'm curious if you've read it, is The Return to the Brain of Eden. Have you read this book yet?
Yeah, it's been on the chopping block for about 7 years.
Wow. Wow. Okay, so somebody put me onto this book from the Woodstock Fruit Festival, somebody that I met there. And this book is crazy because it explains why we evolved to the version of the human species that we are today. It's because we stopped eating our species-specific diet, which is fruit. Okay, and this is incredible. It's why basically it talks about our left and right hemisphere stopped growing at some point, especially our right hemisphere, which is fueled by fruit. Okay, and really amazing book. Highly recommend that. And then Nature's First Law. And David Wolfe is very controversial because he no longer follows his own advice. And so I don't really want to promote him, but this book really helped me. I don't know if you heard of it, but Nature's First Law. And it just talks about why we should be eating as much fresh, ripe, delicious, juicy fruit as possible. Because when we do, we become the version of ourselves that we're supposed to be. And so that's my number one tip is get educated. Yeah, that's my number one tip. I have about 5, by the way. 5.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's yeah, getting educated is super important. I think there's a lot of like, bad information out there, and people like have to be a researcher and have to be experimenter on their own, and not necessarily follow everything I say to the T, or follow everything you say, or follow anything David Wolfe or Doug Graham or any of these people say. Like, understand that they're just humans at the end of the day, like you and I, and they can't be right about everything. So
Absolutely. Take what resonates with you and
yeah,
experiment for yourself. That's what I did in 2011. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to experiment because I really wanted to clear up my acne. Honestly, that was my motivation for going raw. For going vegetarian and vegan is because of the animals. I don't want to support hurting animals. I don't think that we're here for that. But going raw, I didn't really care about my health. I was okay. I had been used to being overweight and sick all the time and congested all the time. I could never breathe and all these things. But my skin, I was so embarrassed to have such horrible acne that I was like, you know what, I'll try anything. So if you're at a low point, anybody watching this, it's a blessing to be at a low point because then you will try anything. And I highly recommend you start, okay, taking better care of yourself by eating as much fresh, ripe, preferably organic fruit as possible. That's where I would start. Somebody wrote, I still don't understand why people laugh at vegans. Do you want to talk about that, Ben? Why people laugh at vegans?
I think it's maybe because they see we're onto something and they don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
As someone who wasn't a vegan for 27, probably 28 years of my life, it's like where was I going with this? It's like I did a lot of stuff that like at the time I wasn't proud of, and I had seen the message. I was actually vegetarian for several years before I was vegan, and I was like, oh, those self-righteous vegans, like think they're better than everybody. But it's like on the other side, like I kind of knew they were onto something, but they just got on my nerves so much because they were so preachy that I didn't want to, like admit that they were right.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just for the same reason that people make fun of anybody who's like going against the narrative. Like they don't want to admit that they've been duped, and it's a lot easier to like point the finger outward than like examine inward.
Yeah, people make fun of all types of people. Whatever you eat, people will make fun of you, right? If you just eat fast food all day long and you're, overweight and stuff, people will make fun of you then too. So choose your heart, I would say. If you're nervous about your friends or family judging you, just realize that they're not living in your body, and you deserve the health and the life of your dreams. You truly do. So don't pay attention to people that laugh at you, and make them laugh. That's what I try to do. Can you talk about what you're typically eating in a day? And is it easy to get all the nutrients required, inspired by you both? Thank you so much. Do you want to share what you typically eat in a day?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'll go first, then you can go. For breakfast, I do high water fruit. I live in Arizona, like a huge citrus hub. So I forage a lot of citrus. I get a lot of it, like seconds on discount. I drink orange juice or grapefruit juice for breakfast for about 5 months out of the year.
Wow.
So it's finally kind of that gravy train's kind of coming to an end here. But I've still got like, just like 100 pounds of oranges just sitting around waiting to be juiced. For lunch, I typically do a big green smoothie, like fill the whole Vitamix with bananas, greens, maybe some other fruit. And then for dinner, just do a huge salad, throw a ton of fruit on there, and then, making some kind of fruit-based dressing or seed-based dressing. Um, and just sometimes it's super simple, or it's like, I take like a head or two of lettuce, I chop it up, and then I blend 5 or 6 mangoes and I pour it on there, and it's like literally 2 ingredient salad. Sometimes there's 7 or 8 or 9 ingredients in there. It just kind of depends on like how ambitious I'm feeling, or like if I just want something simple and I don't have a lot of time, just put it together. But if it's like I want to make something nice, I can do that. So I have the flexibility on that. So that's pretty much what I do. I do eat some cooked food, which is usually like steamed vegetables, steamed greens, steamed sweet potatoes. But I mean, not every day. I think the last time I had it was like maybe Sunday. So that's pretty much what I eat in a day. How about you?
Yeah, I just want to touch base on the cooked food for a second. I think that you can be extremely healthy eating whole cooked foods, okay? Fruit and vegetables are our species specific diet. And if you prefer to eat cooked food sometimes, and that, like makes you feel good and feel full and not crave really bad food like animal products and gluten and all these horrible things that we put in our bodies, I think you should definitely do that. You don't have to be raw vegan to be healthy. You have to eat food with one ingredient to be healthy. That's my personal opinion. So I just want to touch base on that, because a lot of people think that I always like just say, you have to eat raw. You don't. So now my typical day is I always drink water first. I always drink at least 32 ounces of water before I eat anything. And then I always, very similar to you, to your diet, but I always, always, always eat one fruit for breakfast. So today I had grapes. There's no more in the bowl, but I had a big bowl of grapes for breakfast. And after that, maybe a few hours later, I will have my lunch, because I usually have breakfast around 10 or 11. So then I'll have lunch around maybe, I don't know, 1 or 2, something like that. And I will have a smoothie usually. I like smoothies a lot because if you're working, they're super easy, fast, convenient. You get a lot of nutrition, and you want to eat as much fruit as possible. So smoothies are great for that, in my opinion. I'll either have a smoothie, banana based, or I'll have another type of fruit for lunch. And for dinner, I have the same thing as you, except before dinner, I always have fruit. So I have usually one type of fruit, maybe some oranges or some, I don't know, mangoes or something that is delicious before dinner, and then I'll have a big salad after my fruit meal, and then I feel really good and satiated. If I want more after I eat my big salad, then I will have it. I really don't believe in restricting, because when you restrict, right, then you eat things you don't want to eat. So you want to fill up. I try to fill up every day on as much fruit as I want. Some days I'm hungrier than other days, right? So I don't have like a certain amount of calories that I like to hit. I know a lot of people talk about you want to hit a certain amount of calories. I don't believe in that. I believe in if you're hungry, eat. If you're not hungry, don't eat. Your body is very smart, much smarter than your mind. So that's my typical day. Every day, I never get tired of it for 10 years now, because I only eat things that I love. And this leads into my second tip. If you want to get healthier, I would say basically you need to know when your fruit is ripe. That's my second tip of the day. Sorry, I do tips of the day. So tip of this live.
We want to hit the top tips for getting started. So yeah, you
My
got to
second
know
tip,
when
yeah.
fruit is ripe.
You need to know when it's ripe, because if you got to educate yourself on that. So educate yourself on the knowledge about nutrition and why we should be eating a primarily raw food diet, right? And then the second thing is that you've got to start researching and finding out when to open your fruit. Because if you're eating fruit that tastes like shit, you're not going to eat it long enough to see results. So I knew no one in real life that was raw vegan. So I had to go on YouTube and type in, how to know when a cantaloupe is ripe. Because every time I was eating a cantaloupe, it was like cardboard. It tasted like nothing. And if you're someone who doesn't have access to tropical fruit, say you live in a climate that is primarily cold, that's okay. First of all, I lived in New York City for 9 years as a raw vegan. What I did was I educated myself on how to know when fruit is ripe, and I also always went to my local Asian markets. That's where the good stuff is at. If you're in a big city, you can find it. I promise you, you don't have to order from these companies that send fruit to your house that's so expensive and like not realistic, for everyday life. You can find amazing, not very expensive tropical fruit like jackfruits and, what's another one I ate all the time? Oh, dragon fruits all the time in New York, soursop, mame sapote, although I never had a good one in New York ever. I don't know if you get good tropical fruit, but certain ones you can get, like jackfruit, you can definitely get usually anywhere in an Asian market, and you've got to find out when to open it. Go on YouTube. I have a lot of videos. There's a lot of amazing people that have videos and tutorials on how to know when things are ripe. That is key. That is so key. So yeah.
Most people have been eating unripe fruit their whole life and don't even know it. Like,
that's
this
why they don't want to eat a fruit-based diet. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, like bananas is probably the number one thing. It's just like people get it so wrong, and then they're like, oh, well, if I ate as many bananas as you, like I wouldn't be able to poop. It's like, yeah, because you're eating them when they're still green, or like.
If you eat unripe fruit, it will not make you feel good. So unripe bananas, which are bananas that are not spotty yet, okay, they have to have spots on them, guys, and they have to be silent when you peel them. And so if you eat them before that, if you eat them when they're green, or they like make a very loud noise when you peel them, they will cause issues with digestion, bloating, gas, and other things, constipation. You have to know eating ripe fruit is like eating cooked food. Like you've got to put the spices in and cook it well in order for it to taste good, right? And be okay for you to eat. Think of fruit the same way, right? Fruit has to be ripe or else you are not going to like it and your body's not going to like it either. So I have a lot of customers that don't know, because I have a fruit company here, a tropical fruit company here in Miami. A lot of customers, they spend a lot of money on fruit and then they open it way too soon. So that's why I started making videos on my page and my company's page, because I don't want people wasting their money and I want people to experience what we're supposed to be experiencing. And this is what they should be teaching us in school. I'm sure you agree, Ben, on how to know when to pick fruit, and open it and eat it. It's crazy.
Yeah, and thank you for doing that, because yeah, it's something people need to get educated on. So they can find you on your YouTube channel. I assume it's like the same name.
Yeah, Miss.fitvegan, ms.fitvegan. I love fruit so much, and I honestly just make these videos for me so that I can eat fruit and talk about fruit, and I just love it because it saved my life. I was super sick, and I have a big sweet tooth also. And the reason why fruit is so good for us is because we are designed to eat it. That's why we have a sweet tooth, to eat sweet fruit, not to eat processed food, candy, junk food, all this stuff. And I'm just so grateful that I found this information when I was 26. So grateful. So I want to read some of these comments because we got some amazing
We got a bunch
of people.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry guys. Oh my God, there's so many. Wow. All right. What about hormone production, testosterone specifically on a vegan diet? I think Ben, you should take that one probably.
So it's funny. I have a naturopath buddy who does like primarily works with like men and testosterone. One of the main things he does is he puts people on a plant-based diet, and he actually gets guys who have been like using the juice, so to speak, and cycles them off of it and works with them on changing their lifestyle. Um, and so I think like testosterone is a function of like how well you're sleeping, how well you're managing your stress, how well you're exercising, um, and how healthy you're eating. And this idea that testosterone has to come from like an exogenous source, you have to eat the flesh of another animal to get it, is pretty preposterous. Um, because basically testosterone is a steroid hormone. You produce it from cholesterol, which your body naturally, so you don't need to be eating cholesterol to produce it. Um, so if you are getting enough sleep, getting exercise, and eating healthy, managing your stress, like your testosterone levels can be fine. But for like 90% of guys out there, they're not doing that, and they want the shortcut. They want to like give me the patch, shoot me up with the thing in the trembolone sandwich or whatever it is, whatever you want to call it. They want to supplement in some artificial form because they don't want to put in the work to be healthy, unfortunately, and there's side effects of taking these shortcuts. So testosterone shouldn't be a problem if you are managing your stress, exercising, and getting enough sleep. But if you're not doing those things, it's gonna tank. So
Very well said. Somebody wrote, I get made fun of all the time for eating healthy. Oh yeah, John, I hope you're still here. I got made fun of all the time so I worked in corporate, or I was the operations manager for a raw vegan and smoothie food and beverage company in New York. Okay. So even though it was a raw vegan company, all my employees were not even vegan, right? Like maybe I had a handful throughout the years of raw vegans, right? Or even vegans. Most of my employees, I didn't hire people depending on what they ate, right? I hired people depending on who they were as a person, right? If you're an amazing, friendly person, hardworking person, I hired you. And the thing is, people would make fun of me all the time, right? And what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to realize the priority here, right? Do you want to fit in with everyone, or do you want to take your health into your own hands? Okay, the people that laugh at you will be vegan one day. I promise you. They have to be, right? Because what's gonna happen is it's gonna be a life or death situation. And I would recommend you take your health into your hands before it's a life or death situation. All right. I'm so grateful, and I'm sure you feel the same way, Ben, that we took our lives into our hands before it's really too late. And please try to think about that. If you're eating junk food or processed food every single day, I want you to just consider the side effects, and just consider taking, something from this topic today, to realize that there are side effects. Okay. You either pay now by spending a little more on your, fruit and vegetables, or you pay later by spending a lot of money at the hospital, at the doctors, on medication that really don't help. They just make you worse and keep you alive at the bare minimum level, right? So they can keep making money off of you. So I got made fun of every single day. And you know what? Make fun of yourself too. I made fun of myself all the time because it's weird. Eating healthy is weird in society. And that's such a shame. That's such a shame. Somebody wrote about, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, what you said is like the people that like make fun of you the most tend to be the people that come back 6 months, a year, 2 years later, being like, I need your help. What do I do? Like I got this going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, four agreements, can't take any of that personally, right? And like you said, like you're gonna, if you eat unhealthy, like you're gonna be made fun of for being like fat, sick, and overweight. So it's like choose your hard. And I think another thing is like I don't really get made fun of that much anymore for how I eat because I just kind of own it and I just live it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
rarely get trolled. And if I do get trolled, it's mostly about like the medical freedom stuff or talking about 5G or any of that stuff, which is like whatever. I'm so used to it. I've built up such a thick skin from like getting hassled for being a vegan for so long that I just it's just like whatever. Like I mean, if you're gonna let other people's opinions of you dictate like how healthy you're gonna be, how happy you're gonna be, how fulfilling your life is, like what's the point of that?
Yeah, you're not here for that. You're not here for other people. You're here to become your greatest version and inspire the world. So please don't. I get trolled a lot, actually, Ben. I get trolled a lot on YouTube. And I always respond either saying, you know, if you judge me, you're really judging yourself. Or I just say, I love you too. I love you too, boo. I always respond with that because it's just like, you're obviously just trying to show me love, but you don't know how to do it. So you're just showing me some hate. About 20 of the people who used to make fun of me are now vegan. Yes, Sherry. Oh, yes. There you go. You see, they will make fun of you. And there's like a quote. I don't know the quote. Maybe you know it, Ben, but it's like, first they laugh, first they hate. I don't know the quote, right?
First they ignore you, then they mock you, then they fight you, then you win.
Yes, 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 yes. I got to write that down. Dr. Shireen, as a former 8-month-only vegan, I'd say 1, people make fun of someone who has the willpower to do something they know they wouldn't have the self-control to do. Yeah, absolutely. 2, a lot of vegans are pale, flabby, and crabby due to not eating well, so they give vegans a very bad stereotype. Well, that is interesting. That's interesting. All the vegans I know are not pale, flabby, or crabby. I mean, maybe it's because I'm in Miami, but I know people like Tori Washington. He lives pretty close to me. He's not flabby or crabby or pale. I know, Badass Vegan, Doms Thompson. But I know so many vegans. This is ridiculous. I don't know too many that. And yeah, there are some, sickly looking vegans and raw vegans, of course. They don't eat enough. They don't eat enough, I would say. They're doing cleanses all the time, and I don't know what the situation is, but I've been eating raw food only for 10 years, and I'm definitely not crabby, flabby, or pale. So I don't know who you know, but I don't know them. Trying to get through these comments because these are amazing. Regarding nutrients, a lot of vegans online seem to become raw and just want to know how you ensure you're eating enough and getting all of your nutrients. Ben, how would you answer that question? That's a great question. Yeah, how do you ensure you're eating enough?
I think it's just something you develop like an intuitive sense of for the while. Like if you're dealing with like, like fatigued and like energy problems, you're not eating enough. If you're like, losing weight uncontrollably, like you're not eating enough. I think a lot of people bring other like restrictive behaviors with them when they enter this lifestyle and think like, okay, I gotta eat this, but like not too much. Like I don't want to overdo it. Like people like you and me, I'm stuffing my face every day. Like I am literally jamming as much food in there as I want, as I desire. And I'm like, I remember like, last night, like finishing my salad just stuffed. I mean, like I can't eat these like last few bites. I just can't. It's just um, so I think also there's a lot of people who who we see in the raw movement who put up this persona of like, oh, I'm doing everything perfect and look at me and they want this attention, but really they're not doing it. They're like they're oftentimes like bringing disordered behavior with them, and then they come out and say, oh guys, you know what? Actually, for the last 3 months, I've been like eating animal products, and then tell you, even though I was making all these videos, how great I feel. So it's like you don't really know what people are really doing when they have an online persona, especially one where they're like really trying hard to get attention. So that's my best answer to it. That's who I see is bunking out, are the people who like put on a larger than life show.
Yeah, great point. I totally agree with everything you said. I would say that the way to know how you're eating enough or to make sure you're eating enough, and this is my number 3 tip actually, is buy more than you think that you will need or eat. Buy more than you think you will eat. Because if you don't have healthy food around you, you will eat unhealthy food. You're a human, you need calories, you need food to sustain yourself and survive, right? Like that's our brain. Our brain says we need food every day, right? So I would say make sure you have enough around you, buy more than you think, and don't ever worry about things going bad, because you can always freeze fruit, all right? You can always put it in the fridge to make it last longer, okay? So if you guys don't know that by now, if fruit gets ripe, put it in the fridge. You'll get at least a few more days till you have to eat it. And if it gets too ripe, just freeze it. You can make a smoothie with that, or a smoothie bowl. You know, nobody knows. It's crazy because what you said is absolutely true. Social media is not real, okay? We need to understand this. We need to understand this. You know, it's same like the movies. It's like CGI and all this stuff is not real. So why do you think that things on, just because somebody is showing you what they eat in a day doesn't mean that that's actually what they eat, okay? People lie, and some people are not even vegan, and they're just pretending to be vegan because there's a market for that, and they're making money on that. And then when the money runs out, when they start losing followers, they start another diet, a carnivore diet or whatever, right? And then so that's social media. Don't take social media too seriously. It's not real life. In real life, I will say my best advice to not go back to eating animal products or eating unhealthy is to be careful who you surround yourself with. This is my best advice. You become the sum of the top 5 people you hang out with. And if you hang out with people that eat animal products and try to convince you to eat them because you might be getting sick, you might not be getting enough protein, you know what? You might start eating those products again. And I truly believe that's what happened with all these people that went from eating raw vegan to back to animal products, because I know a lot of them. I met a lot of them at fruit festivals, and I know a lot of people. And what happens is they are surrounded by people that eat animal products. So being a raw vegan and sitting with other people with eating animals, and they're constantly talking about you're not getting enough this, you're not getting enough that, you might be, ruining your brain forever, with the B12 or whatever. So be careful with that. Be careful with who you surround yourself with, because you will become the sum of the top 5 people that you surround yourself with. Be very careful about that. And I just want to say, nice cream gets in. Yes, I love nice cream. I love bananas. They're a great source of calories. If time, can you guys touch on EFT tapping as it relates to habit change? Yes, we will. We can. I mean, I can't, but Ben can. Can you talk about EFT as it relates to habit change?
Sure. So EFT is this is like total 180 topic. But basically, one thing that's going to happen is that when you're changing your diet, you're going to get cravings for the foods you used to eat. And it may be some stuff that really, even just eating it, you'll feel horrible. Even like, and so when I've been coaching people and training people, it's like a thing that comes up. And so started looking for strategies for ways to dealing with this. Because a lot of times when it hits, it's just so overpowering for people. They get in, right? And if you're talking about like, you don't have enough food in your home, people say like, oh, I ran out of fruit and I had to go eat blah, blah, blah. It's like, if you just kept more than enough and a little went bad every once in a while, like that wouldn't be a problem, right? So saying like you did, you ran out is you set yourself up for that, even though you don't want to admit it. So when these cravings happens, EFT is a strategy for just chilling the nervous system out, because it gets in that freaked out mode of like, I gotta have, what was it, like the Carl's Jr. Beyond Burger, or I don't know, what are people craving these days? And like it hits really hard and it becomes overpowering to the point where it's like that's all you can think about, right? And the EFT is a strategy, one of many, for getting the nervous system out of that like freak out mode and into more like a chilled, relaxed state where you can actually make a rational decision. Because if you're rational, you go, okay, I know that's not good for me, I'm not going to eat it, right? But when you're in this fight or flight, freeze state, it's really hard to make rational decisions. And so this is a way to just like knock you out of that and like bring you back to earth. So Maybe, oh, let's see. We got maybe we do that next video, or I don't
Yes.
know.
Next video, let's talk
Okay.
about EFT because that's one of my favorite things on earth. I do it a lot myself, and I know it lowers cortisol levels, and it's just so good for you every single day. My last two tips, I don't know how much time we've been going. Do you?
About 45 minutes in.
Cool,
So
cool, cool. Okay, so my last two tips, that's funny you mentioned that because EFT helps with you making decisions. And the other thing that I was going to say that helps is to prepare. Okay, so if you fail to prepare, prepare to fail, right? It's going to happen. You're going to have cravings in the beginning. Or even like now, I don't have cravings for things that I don't see as food, right? I don't have any cravings for animal products. That's not a food item to me. That's an animal's body part, right? So that's not food. But once in a while, I will crave chocolate. That was one of my favorite things on earth. And I don't like to eat it often because I know that it's not a health food. Okay, I don't know your thoughts on this, Ben, but cacao, I don't believe is a health food. Cacao fruit, yeah, that's awesome. But the seed, it contains caffeine, it contains theobromine, it is pretty bad for your adrenals and your thyroid, and I don't like, it's not a superfood to me, personally. I've experienced the side effects. So I always prepare, okay? So to prepare, you wanna have some things that you love to eat. So write a list. What are my favorite fruit and vegetables? What are my favorite healthy recipes, treats? Smoothie bowls are like amazing. You can make raw vegan ice cream with bananas. Yeah, I do have a recipe book. You can find it at 100freerecipes.com. It's free. And I made that because I am not a person who likes to be in the kitchen. So I made this book with all the recipes that I've been doing for the last 10 years, 5 ingredients or less, no dehydrator, no oil, no like too much prep. I don't like to be in the kitchen. So I make things really fast, and banana ice cream is one of my favorite things. If you like ice cream, this will really help you out a lot. Bananas, something magical happens when you freeze them. And then, making smoothies. So find your favorite, amazing, easy, healthy recipes, okay? You've got to be prepared before the cravings hit. If you wait until you crave something and you have no healthy food around you, of course you're gonna go to a fast food place. Of course you're gonna eat whatever's in your house. That's another thing. If you don't wanna eat something, don't have it in your house. And a lot of people, I have clients that, yes, they have families, and they're like, Jeanette, that doesn't work for me. I have kids. They have to eat this. And I'm just like, wait, why are you giving your kids something that you know is horrible for them, that you don't want to eat? You don't want to eat yourself. Why are you giving it to your kids? There are so many alternatives nowadays, like healthier versions of everything. There's no reason that we should be poisoning the people we love the most. So I don't want to hear from all my clients, I don't want to hear that they are trying, they can't stay on a healthy diet because they're eating Chips Ahoy cookies because it's in the house. Why is that horrible crap in the house? These companies don't care about your health, your family, your future, your well-being, right? So let's not support these companies. Let's support Mother Nature, who wants to support you, right? It's like the circle of life. So we got to keep healthy, amazing, delicious fruit in the house that the kids will love, you'll love, everybody's happy. All right. So that's what I would say is prepare. And then my last tip was find amazing recipes. Okay. Because health food, and I'm sure you experience this too. You think that like you can't live without certain foods. And then you realize like there's amazing healthy food out there that tastes so good. You never want to live without that. Like I'm a big fan of like tropical fruit. And I will never be able to, that's why I moved to Miami eventually, because I will never be able to live without eating tropical fruit again. It's just like, that's a main staple in my diet. It's like some people, they can't live without fries or burgers, the more you eat healthier, your taste buds will change and you will start craving the things that taste really, really good and that are really healthy. I don't have any discipline, honestly. I just eat the things that I love now. And that happens to be things that I've been eating. Whatever you eat, you'll crave. So somebody said, hey, love your work. I'm thinking they're talking to you, but I'm going to take that too. Thank you so much. I'm sure they're talking to you though. So yeah, I don't know if you will have any comments on that, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one good point to make is like, if you're watching this and think, oh, these people have so much willpower and they do something I couldn't do, it's like we're not cut from a different cloth. Like you said, it's years of like making mistakes and just keeping at it and getting back in the saddle every time. And it's habits that we've built that we're now. It's like I don't crave the bad. Like when you talk about like food that I have to have, there has to be mangoes when they're in season. Like it's like and I ride that out like the beginning of mango seasons. Like as soon as they hit
Who doesn't love mangoes? Who doesn't? Who right now? Somebody tell me in this chat if you don't like mangoes. I want to know, because mangoes are so delicious and they're so good for you. That's the thing. This diet is so easy because you're eating things that make you feel good, that taste really good, and are good for the planet. And it's just like win, 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 win. Yeah. Sorry. I just got excited about mangoes.
Yeah, no, totally. Like we have these ideas that come from the standard American diet of like, oh, you have to restrict and not eat too much. And you have to like all these sort of rules that were created around eating foods that make you sick. And then when you're eating foods that make you well, like none of that applies. It's like you want to eat as much as you can. You want to enjoy your food. You don't want to feel, there's no reason to feel guilty about like eating too many mangoes. It's like you should be eating mangoes. You're like, oh my God, I can't even look at another mango. And then you're good. If you do that with like, cheeseburgers, you're going to feel horrible. It's like, oh, I can't like Louis C.K. used to say, I don't stop eating when I'm full. I stop eating when I hate myself.
Yeah, I love Louis C.K. But yeah, that is such a good point. That's such a good point. Yeah.
You won't get to that eating fruit. You'll be like, I'm stuffed. That was great. I feel amazing. As opposed to like, whoa.
And there's no more guilt in your life when you're eating the food you're meant to eat. And I'm somebody who never, ever thought I would go vegan. Never thought I would eat healthy. I was raised on McDonald's. Okay. I was raised as a regular, normal person in America, raised to eat all the shit. My mom didn't know any better, right? So it's not her fault. It's not our parents' fault. They just don't know any better. I never thought in a million years that I could give up fried chicken. This is one of my favorite foods. And I'm telling you right now, if you're somebody who's addicted to something you don't want to eat anymore, it makes you feel like shit, look like shit, act like shit, right? Because if you eat crappy food, you'll be in a crappy mood. If you're someone like this that's struggling, reach out to one of us. This is our life purpose, to help people understand that it is a cycle that you can get out of. The more you eat of something, the more you want it. Whatever's in your bloodstream, you're going to crave. Okay, so if you think it's never going to be able to be you, contact us because we can help you. I never thought it would be me. I never thought I'd be sitting here 10 years raw vegan, like able to have stuff in the house, right? Because I live with my best friend who is a regular vegan, and she has all this type of crap in the house, and I don't even want it. I don't want it, truly. It doesn't appeal to me. I'd rather have this amazing fruit. And oftentimes she'll be like, oh my God, can I have some? It smells so good, like cutting a pineapple, like I don't want it. And that's because my microbiome has changed. That's because what's in my body wants more of what's in my body, right? Your bacteria in your gut feeds on what you eat. So it's really, that's whatever it wants. It wants more of what will keep it alive. So just know that it's easier. I promise you, it's so much easier than you think. And every single I can't is just an I haven't. So just know that it's a mentality. And yeah, we're here to help you in any way we can.
Awesome. So, hey, so let's summarize again the 5 tips, just so people got.
So number 1, educate yourself, okay, as far as why it's better and way more sustainable and healthier to eat a high fruit diet, a plant-based whole foods high fruit diet. Why? Okay, there's so much resources out there now, YouTube, books that I shared at the beginning of this chat. Number 2, it's buy more than you think that you will need. I think that was number 2. Yeah. Oh no, number 2 was educate yourself on when to know when fruit is ripe. Okay, so number 1 is educate yourself on the nutrition side, why we're doing this. And number 2 is educate yourself to know when to open things. Because if you open a fruit before it's ripe, it's not going to taste good. But if you wait until the perfect time, if you know how it's, what it's supposed to look like, smell like, look like, and then you open it, you're going to have the most amazing experience. Okay, so you can find that information on YouTube. I do a lot of fruit videos. Number 3 is buy more than you think you will need. Okay, keep more in your house and at your workplace and in your bag than you think you will need. And if you have to toss a few things or freeze a few things or give a few things away, okay, I'm trying to say give a few fruits away, then that's okay, right? It's okay, because you're better off than falling off the wagon. Number 4, find some amazing, easy, simple recipes that you love, that you truly love. And number 5 is be prepared, okay? Because you will, in the beginning, you will crave certain things, okay? Whenever in the beginning, when I craved pasta, I made sure to fill up on, I remember like smoothies, and I personally love ice cream. So I would make an ice cream every single day when I first went raw. And now I still have it, every few days, at least every few days. But find something you love and keep those ingredients around you. Something that you love, that's healthy, that you won't feel guilty about eating. And those are my tips.
All right, awesome. Well, hey, I guess that's probably a good place to land the plane. And we're going to do another one next week, huh?
Yeah, I want to focus on EFT, so I'm really excited for that, if that's okay with you. It's really amazing, powerful. I do it every single day. I recommend it to my clients, and yeah, I'm excited to talk about that.
Okay, well, thanks, and we'll be in touch. This was great.
Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I really appreciate it, and I will definitely see you guys next week. Thank you for your comments. Yeah, mangoes smell, wait, what? Basically, I don't like mangoes. Oh, we got someone. Okay, they've never had a good mango. I promise you. I promise you. All right, bye, Ben. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.